Hi. Hi, everyone. It is me, Sailor Minimoon. Rainy here, doing a film outside. And yes, it did rain again. It rained, it rained mostly through most of the early midday, but it stopped. But then it started raining again at night, you know. And it is hot again. So you might think to yourself, that would mean that the rainstorms that we got would have to be bad, and no, I don't think so. So the first thing that I want to talk about here is how how everybody always wonders why I always picked on, Sailor Moon, Serena. And at first I picked on her because I didn't know she was my mother in the past. Two, she would behave like a klutz and a ditz and a sob baby, and somehow I thought I was more grown up than her, you know. And even after I learned that she was my mother in the upcoming, how I would not know that was beyond me, you know. You're like, well, Reenie, Sailor Mini Moon, Small Moon, Little Moon, how did you not know Serena was your mother in the upcoming? They both had the same kind of yellow hair. They both looked alike. They both kind of wore the same kind of clothes. They spoke the same way. Yeah, I don't know. It was like, how did you not know Darian was your father in the upcoming? Giving to the grounds that they wore the same clothes and they looked the same way and had the same black hair and that they both talked the same way, but go fought there. I don't know if that's not really my forgiveness, for for being mean to her, for most of all, Sailor Moon R, which no one really knows what the R stands for, and how by the time I came back and Sailor Moon Super or over, or Sailor Moon Super after Sailor Moon over, how I wasn't as mean to her anymore. But I still had the belief that I was grown up than her, and sometimes, you know. At first, I was looking for the Kaiserum Silver Hearse, which I believed that either she had on her or someone else had on her, you know. And then I later on scathed her for being a sob baby and a ditz and a klutz, because I, didn't, thought that there was no way she could be Sailor Moon, no way that she could be, entrusted with that kind of might. So yeah, I bullied her. I picked on her. Yes, I was ashamed. That's what I did. And keep in mind, it gets even worse because I'm sorry for doing all of that. Because then her mother and father and her brother a lot of times, and this did get played up on Deke as well in Viz, so it's not a shift around of it. They did gaslight her or ghostlight her or whatever you want to call it. They did guilt her for a lot of things. And that I am truly sorry for. I'm sorry for all the times I picked on her and made fun of her. And then, since I know Darian was, after I learned about Serena being my mother and Darian being my father, I'd like to, go these little, I always like to say, I'm going to hang out with them when you do. And Serena never liked that. She did not. She would get irked and angered, thinking that I was going to take her stead, and that's not true at all. So I like to play that little game with her from time to time. And even after I happen to have a kinship with Helios, I still end up doing that thing. But a lot of folks like to say that the way that Deke made me behave to Serena, in Sailor Moon, the two-dip following, they want to say that Pioneer made me behave more like how I would be in the Toei and Viz world than I was in the Disney Deke world, if that makes any thought there. You know. Now, I know some folks are going to also bring up and say, well, there's another thing you should be guilty or ashamed of was, brainwashing Serena's kin into believing that you were their kin. And the way I am their kin, and the way I am Serena's mother and father's granddaughter, believe that or not. I would be Samuel's niece, that's true. But then how I had a spell or brainwashed them into believing that I was a near kin, and that I'd come over one year and made these likenesses that were just made up because they never happened. And some folks wonder, when I came back in Sailor Moon S and Sailor Moon SS, Sailor Moon S, and came back and kept through all of Sailor Moon SS, was I brainwashing and spelling them again? The answer would have to be no. The answer would have to be no, I was not. Because it doesn't come up anymore. Well, hopefully at the end of the day, I am truly sorry for, bullying, trolling, and picking on Serena like I did. Mostly for all Sailor Moon are. Calling her names, putting her down. You know, all kinds of things that I did. Now in Sailor Moon S, I did do it some, but not as much. And Sailor Moon SS, I did it some, but not as much as I did in Sailor Moon R, though. And if you're talking about Sailor Moon Sailor Stars, well, I left by that time after we fought Queen Helen Elena in Sailor Stars. I didn't do it all there at all. And I'm just going to throw this little thing out for you all before I end this film. If you play as me and Sailor Moon R for the Over Nintendo, or whatever the English word would be for that, and you have the Rain Shield, you can go through all the worlds and not take any wounding. Very few foes can really hit you if you go as me and hit them with the Rain Shield, believe that or not. So, yeah. Alright, Sailor Mini Moon, Sailor Small Moon, Sailor Little Moon Rini, and I'll see you later.